Did he accomplish really incredible things that were sort of laid out in this pay package and this award? Absolutely.
It's an area that, of course, completely threatens countries like Germany, like the U.S., where we've had these really critically important auto manufacturing businesses. Thank God for Tesla.
This morning, thousands of homes and businesses remain without power. Last night, at least 500,000 homes still without electricity.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is down in the pre-market almost 1%, sitting at 173.52. For the week, it's been a rocky ride, pretty much trading sideways. And year-to-date, Tesla has incurred losses of over 30%. With the annual shareholder meeting looming in the middle of June, I wonder how the stock will move once the votes have been tallied about Elon Musk's pay package.
Is he still doing a good job with Tesla?
I think when you look at this letter and look at it closely, I think they particularly take issue with the performance of the company just in the last few years. And if you look at how the stock price has performed, say since the day that he disclosed taking a stake in Twitter, Tesla is significantly lagging the S&P 500 index. And so did he accomplish really incredible things that were sort of laid out in this pay package and this award? Absolutely.
And that's all that should matter. Integrity. I wasn't a shareholder back in 2018, but even if I were to have voted no on this extravagant pay package, back in 2018, those milestones would have been really hard to conceive. But without a shadow of a doubt, if those things were to happen, the value of the company would exceed any investor's wildest dreams. And guess what? That came to pass. All this talk about what have you done for me lately? Oh, I'm gonna take my football and go home. That's not what the terms of the deal were about. I have one question for anybody that's going to vote no as a shareholder. Where the fuck is your integrity?
But has he really sort of shot himself in the foot by the way that he's run the company in the years since he achieved these things? That is also true, and that is what they're taking issue with, and really leveraging the ruling in Delaware that, through this whole pay package, out the window and force the board's hand to try and, adjust and offer this back up to investors.
A lack of integrity.
I mean, $56 billion is a lot of money. I mean, I imagine that he'd be pretty angry about being challenged. And so are there consequences from challenging Elon Musk?
I think, he has proactively, even before the Delaware court made its ruling, made this not so veiled threat that, if he doesn't control 25% of this company, he will take his work on AI and robotics elsewhere. So that is sort of looming over, and you do have, this effort on the part of Tesla to really drum up support among retail investors and some, loud voices on now X, really sort of holding out this potential for, if we don't give Elon this, will he leave? I guess the counter to that, if you ask the Delaware Chancery Court judge, is, hey, this guy still has quite a big stake in this company and very much has a vested interest in seeing the stocks stay, where it is.
Is there a chance Elon could take his talents elsewhere? Sure, I guess so. But in my honest opinion, I feel that is a very unlikely chance. Pay package or no pay package, Tesla is this guy's baby. Not only do I believe he'll have the votes for approval, in the wild long shot where the shareholders don't approve it, I believe he still ain't going nowhere. The financial news media has perpetuated this fear-mongering among Tesla investors. Oh, if Elon doesn't get paid, he's going to leave. Get the f*** out of here with that nonsense. I've seen some Tesla investors even getting out ahead of it, selling 20% of their stake, 30% of their stake in Tesla. Is you crazy? Tesla's on the verge of cracking the biggest artificial intelligence nut there is. Once they solve for general autonomy with FSD, that's going to branch off into the brainchild that's going to make Optimus the most valuable thing on the planet. The man needs the data from the vehicles to make FSD a reality and then transfer that over into the Optimus bot. There's still so much work to do. Once we get the 2018 pay package out of the way, I'm more interested in looking forward to what the next pay package has in store. And between me and you, I want it to be grander than what this one already is. Pay that man his money.
Look at shares of Tesla down 1.5% today. Reuters reporting the company is offering discounts to some European leasing companies. Just the latest price cut from the EV maker. They cut prices as recently as last month in a number of major markets, including the U.S., China, and Germany, as they fight to hold on to market share.
Well, I think when I look at the China EV risk around the world, there's definitely the risk of the domestics that are playing in China probably continuing to lose share. They lost about 14% market share since 2020. I think that trajectory continues. But then I think GM, Ford, Stellantis are all global companies. So there's risk in South America, particularly, where I think China's gaining footing. BYD is going to be opening a plant both in Mexico and Brazil. If you go to Europe, which is a market that does not have a lot of protectionism currently, you're talking about they're going to build a plant in Hungary, and we're seeing rapid pace of exports. China is now the biggest auto exporter in the world.
Largest exporter of vehicles in the world? China's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing you can try to do is make a compelling product as best that you can, meeting these wickets. You must find cheaper and more productive labor. If that means more robots, more automation, then it means more robots, more automation. Fast research and development. A lot of what China's doing is kind of carbon copy paste what Tesla has been doing, especially on the battery electric vehicle side. Lower fixed costs and vertical integration. All of these things is what our legacy auto manufacturers need to be thinking about.
It's an area that, of course, completely threatens countries like Germany, like the U.S., where we've had these really critically important auto manufacturing businesses. Thank God for Tesla, but even they, it sounds like, are maybe not price competitive or competitive in other ways.
For over a century, our economy has been propped up by the automobile industry. If we want that to continue, we're going to need the legacy auto manufacturers to get on board. Tesla cannot do it alone, and it is absolutely imperative that we switch to a sustainable energy economy. It's not going to happen overnight, but it does need to occur. But our anchor is absolutely correct. Thank the maker for Tesla's existence, letting everyone in the automobile industry know that there's a better way.
So for U.S. investors, what do they do with the big automakers? Do they have to kind of stay on the sidelines while this wave of innovation plays out?
I mean, I have underweight ratings on all of the Detroit 3 and Tesla. I do think that it's a pretty tough time to be involved with the automakers. I mean, you have pricing pressure, you have EV pressures, you're forced to ramp due to regulations. And I think as you go to the midterm, the China emergence is a big risk. I mean, BYD went from 400,000 units just 3 years ago and is supposed to sell 3.7 million units this year. It'll be a couple 100,000 away from Ford, which is pretty remarkable and really shows how quickly these companies could be catching up to the traditional automakers.
Is there anything that the traditional automakers can do at this point?
I think one of the fundamental realities is I think they have to think about R&D and how quickly they develop and invest in their vehicles. I think they probably need to improve the refresh rates, particularly in China, but they're really going to have to think about it around the world, getting products to market faster on a faster development cycle, which is a fundamentally different way from where they've historically thought.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a grim prognosis, honestly. And you do worry about Tesla, and the stock price reflects that as they struggle to keep up.
Only the best of the best are going to survive the decade. This is not an easy endeavor to do. And the Chinese, they have an excellent advantage. They have a more willing consumer base over there in China and a supportive government that's going to allow those car makers from BYD on down to the EV startups, giving them a sense of freedom when they're producing these vehicles. Where Tesla has the advantage is worldwide, battery electric vehicles are synonymous with Tesla. The manufacturing expertise that Tesla possesses will be highly imitated as evidence in China, but never duplicated. Add to the fact their innovations in software, vision, neural nets, FSD. Tesla isn't just making cars, they're working to set the standard for autonomy. Who knows what the else? Tesla can't make every vehicle necessary for the world to continue to function. Maybe around a fifth, maybe. But what they can do is profit from every vehicle on the planet with the NACS, licensing their software to all of these vehicles on the roads, creating a software as a service type situation for not only their vehicles, but for every vehicle. The opportunity is ridiculous. And before I let you go, I just want to give a shout out to my city of Houston. Houston strong as we continue to deal with the fallout from these tornadoes.
We're learning 7 people died after severe weather ripped down power lines and trees and toppled brick walls out there. Now, this footage is from our sister station this morning in Houston, really giving us a look at the destruction left behind from those storms on Thursday. This morning, thousands of homes and businesses remain without power. Last night, at least 500,000 homes still without electricity.
If your home or business was totaled, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. But to the millions of Houstonians that lost power for days and are still without power, it's time to start thinking about taking power back into your own hands. In my humble area, we did lose power. A lot of communities lost power. But thanks to our solar system and power wall situation, we remained operational. If push came to shove, with our current power supply, we would have probably lasted a little over a day, even if the sun were not to peek around the clouds the following day. Solar's nice, but without the power wall, that would have been for naught. Our household has 3 power walls, and as the disasters keep coming, my thoughts go to adding a couple more. I had to silence the ring notifications about updates toward the power in the communities. My advice, take your power into your own hands. It may be a little costly up front, but if you've gone a few days without power here in the Houston area, you know that that's not only an investment in your comfort, but your sanity. Protect your home, protect your mobility. You can't account for everything, but you can control what you can control. Do yourself a favor, take a look at the Tesla website and see what you can do to take power into your own hands. In conclusion, pay that man his money. Tesla is no longer the biggest threat to the automotive industry. They only spurred the transition to battery electric vehicles, that's all. But I get it. Looking over at China and what they're capable of, it's hard not to direct your attention to the elephant in the room. And from the bottom of my heart, deepest condolences to anyone that lost anyone in this tragic storm. To anyone that lost assets, businesses, homes, vehicles. That is terrible too, but it could have been much worse. Control what you can control and take your power into your own hands. Houston strong. That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.